doing the live stream today. It's a little bit breezy, so I'm hoping that doesn't have too much wind noise that ruins the video, but we're going to talk a little bit about the Chinese dominating the world with dollar-denominated debt. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily a world domination, but China is definitely having its impact. Now, before I get started on the information, I'm going to tell you a little story about me going to the DMV today. So, as people are getting into this live stream, I'm going to talk a little story about how I had to renew my license. My birthday was over the weekend, and I didn't realize it, but my driver's license had expired. And so I'm like, crap, I got to get down to the DMV and renew my driver's license. Well, probably like most DMVs in the country, it's incredibly busy down there, right? And you can never get in there and just get in and out, right? You have to end up hanging out there for hours, and you never, it's a waste of a day. So I figured, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up real early in the morning, right, which I was already up for work. And instead of going to work, I'm just going to go right to the DMV. They open up at 9. I usually go to work at 7:30, and I'm just going to go wait at the door at the DMV before anybody else can get there, so I can be the first one in. Now, I knew I wasn't going to be the only one with this idea, but I showed up there. Again, the DMV opens up at 9. I was there at 7:40. I was the first one there. As soon as I got to the parking lot, within I think 5 minutes, somebody else showed up in the parking lot. So I got out of my car and I went and I stood next to the front door. That girl saw me do it. She got out and she stood next to me at the front of the DMV door. And I think probably within 2 or 3 minutes there was another guy who showed up. So here it is. It's 7:45. The DMV doesn't open up for another hour and 15 minutes. By 8 o'clock, we're talking 15 minutes, there was already a dozen people now standing in line. And by 9 o'clock, there was well over 30 people who had now shown up to now get into the DMV in order to do their business. So I was pretty thankful for being there as early as I was. I walk in, you got the self-check-in, I click the little button, I get my little ticket. I walk up to the counter. She says, good morning. I say, good morning. I'm here to renew my license, re-register the Explorer. She says, no problem. We take care of the paperwork. I pay the bill. I get my picture taken. She says, great. You'll get your license in the mail here in a few days. I say, no problem. She says, okay, have a great day. I said, thank you very much. I got my temporary license. I walk out the door. I look at my phone. It's 9:11. Right? Literally in the DMV, I don't think I did much more than maybe 8 minutes worth of business the entire time. And it took me an hour and 15 minutes of waiting just to get there, right? Just to get into the DMV. So I got to thinking about that. I'm like, wow, if somebody really didn't have much going on in their day, or they didn't start work until maybe in the afternoon, like they're a bartender or something, really, I think an individual might be able to sell their spot in line. Just go down to the DMV, stand there at the door, and then charge somebody $30 to have your spot in line, right? You can, because I think about it, no matter what, you were going to waste 2 hours, almost 2 hours worth of your time. I had to do almost an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes just to make sure that I could have the first spot in there. Everybody else who had shown up there, by the time they had opened up, they got hours of waiting to get through all those people before they'll ever get their shot at doing their business. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of a fun little story to tell. Okay, let's talk about China and the dollar-denominated debt out there. This is something that we have discussed quite a bit, and I don't think a lot of people realize what it is that has taken place out there. So I left this article down in the description to show what it is that China is doing to these other nations out there. A lot of times, we hear this stuff about the Belt and Road Initiative and how it is that China's trying to build up this infrastructure, supply chains and stuff like that. What they ended up doing is creating a lot of infrastructure projects in foreign nations out there. And the article is really talking more about the South Pacific Islands. But the idea was that they were going to lend these nations money so that they could build up their infrastructure, build highways and power plants and build ports and just, have more favorable conditions to their economy with these loans that they were getting from China. Now, China was issuing out a lot. When I say a lot, the majority of these loans, they were issued out in dollars, US dollars. And so these foreign nations out there, these Pacific Islands, they are now suffering the consequences of higher interest rates, not being able to roll their debts over into new debts, or having the issues of China not giving them favorable conditions on the ideas of them defaulting, like having to extend their loans out there. This is becoming incredibly burdensome for these Pacific islands. And many nations out there. I mean, it's not just the Pacific Islands, it's like all kinds of nations out there that are suffering under this. And now I think about this. This is the way China has now positioned themselves to deal with a stronger dollar, because China also has debts that are due in dollars, right? So dollar denominated debt is a huge burden on the world. Like, everybody just kind of says, like, they hear this dollar denominated debt and think that that money is owed to the United States. No, that's not. It doesn't have anything to do with the United States. Like, nothing. Like, literally nothing to do with the United States, except that the debt was issued out in dollars. So China and this other nation, they did deals. It didn't matter what the United States was thinking or doing at the time. They did this deal between each other, and they did it in US dollars. Now those debts are due in dollars, and the dollar is getting stronger as the quantitative tightening and the higher interest rates has created a stronger dollar versus the rest of the world's currencies out there. And those world currencies are not able to attract the dollars to pay the debt off. Right? So they have to come up with ever-increasing amounts of their currency to buy the dollars in order to pay their debts, or they're going to have to suffer the consequences like they are facing right now, which ends up putting China in a very dominating position over them. This is something that they planned out a long time ago. Like, all those loans that they had done in, for the Belt and Road Initiative is now coming back to haunt all these nations out there who are suffering the consequences of a stronger dollar. King Dollar the Destroyer. It doesn't have this doesn't have anything to do with the United States, except that it was done in US dollars. That's it. Very important to follow this stuff and understand that this is the case that's taking place out there. A lot of times people are saying, yeah, China's getting out of the dollar, all these nations, they don't want the dollar, piss on the dollar. No, man, that is not the case. You want to see something very interesting, go check out the Federal Reserve's paper called Dollar Funding Stresses in China. Go and read that. We did a live stream, members only video that covered that entire document. You can go and become a member of the channel. It's $1 a month, and go and watch that video, and you will understand in a much higher fashion of what it is that's truly taking place out there with the dollar, the China dollar denominated debt, and all the dollar denominated debt that China had issued out there. Right? And so when I hear this stuff about how the dollar is done and it's cooked and nobody won, that's not true. The China is using strong dollars to destroy other nations for their benefit. Don't think that they don't do it. They don't want to see the dollar destroyed. They want these other nations to suffer the consequences of a stronger dollar, therefore defaulting all their infrastructure projects to the ownership of Chinese companies. All right? That's what's going on right now. All right, let's read some of these comments. How's the sound quality? Is it okay, or is it too noisy? A person that's a good book. Ever read Secrets of the Federal Reserve by Astoria Mullins? I haven't, but you know what I did do is I had a conversation with the guy who works at the Philadelphia Fed. I had a conversation with him this morning. He's not a bank official, but he does participate in some of the discussions and meetings. Like, I don't know if it's necessarily like him actually giving his advice or anything like that, but he is part of the community there at the Philadelphia Fed. And I guess he asked a direct question to Patrick Harker at the Philadelphia Fed. He's the Philadelphia Fed president. Asked him straight up. It was just like, so what is this 2% target, this 2% inflation? Are you really going for that? And he had, in a very Fed speak, had to pretty much, confess to him that they're not going for a 2% target, but that it is over time after the 2008 issues of hitting the lower bound of zero, or after not being able to raise the Fed funds rate enough to get their ammo back, right? That's kind of the issues that was really taking place. But I can't believe it. Like, this guy is pretty cool, and hopefully I'll be able to stay in communication with him and maybe get some direct questions right to the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, President Patrick Harker. That would be really cool, wouldn't it? So yeah, I've kind of built up this this communication with the guy in the Fed itself. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, he's not part of the decision making of like monetary policy or anything like that, but being able to ask questions of the Federal Reserve officials, or being maybe in a way get in there and get that question answered, I think that's pretty neat, right? Okay. Dollar milkshake theory. Yeah, absolutely it is. I mean, Brent Johnson dollar milkshake theory is very, I mean, it's very much in line with what I believe is happening out there. Let's see here. It predates G. Edward Griffin book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. Yeah, that's a pretty good book. I've met G. Edward Griffin. We had a great time in Vegas at the Silver Symposium. Went and had lunch with him at the Hell's Kitchen, and that was a lot of fun to be able to meet the author and have that discussion with him and stuff. And that's an incredibly powerful book, The Creature from Jekyll Island. I mean, if you haven't read that, or listen to some of the lectures that G. Edward Griffin has given on The Creature from Jekyll Island, I really recommend everybody go check that out. Simon, thank you for your unique perspective. Yeah, you bet, Carter, is that Carter Morey? And thank you very much for enjoying the channel and everything that I got going on here. I mean, it's been an interesting road for sure, man. I never thought that I would ever be, doing something like this, but, it's pretty cool to be here and, have you guys witnessing and participating with everything that's happening. It clutters up the chat a lot. Thank you. What does? Colin, beautiful view on the dice. Yeah, thanks, All-Nighter. I don't have my vehicle with me today. I'm actually lending I brought the S10 in because I'm going to lend it to a friend of mine whose vehicle broke down on him so he can get to work. I might end up selling him the truck if he can't figure out any other ride, because he doesn't really have a whole lot going on as far as money and available credit to go out there and just get another vehicle or something like that. So I'm going to lend him the truck and see how that goes for a while, and we'll see. Awesome live stream last night. Yeah, last night's live stream was really fun, man. I mean, sometimes they just come out like that. I don't really, I have an intention for the video for like the first 10 minutes, and then after that it's just whatever happens, wherever the discussion goes. And last night discussion, it got pretty deep. I mean, we were talking about some pretty deep level personal stuff, and life things, just how to get through all this, right? All right. Boom. Hey, Benny's in the house. Right on, Benny. Good to see you, man. When my truck broke down, I was on a bike for 2 months. Yeah, and see, that's just the thing. Like, this guy is not going to be able to bike. I mean, biking is not going to happen. So I was actually feeling quite fortunate that I could offer him up the S10, and we'll see how it goes. All right, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Simon no longer has his vehicle yet again. Yeah, I do have a vehicle. I still got the Toyota Corolla. Okay. Winging it works, yeah. All right, Benny says, howdy, hider. One day at a time, that's right. I mean, really everything is just one day at a time, because the future is not here, and the past is only your imagination and what you believe it is. Because the past isn't what it is. Like, everybody who thinks about the past remembers it differently. Like, every time you pull a memory out of the past and you think about it and you put it back away differently than what actually happened. Right? It's strange to think, but it's actually the truth. Your memories of the past are really not the reality of the situation. It's all what you just happen to believe of it at the time. So the past doesn't exist the way you think it does, and the future doesn't exist because nobody's there yet. The only thing that truly exists is the exact moment that you're in right now. This is it, right? And there is nothing else. There is no past and there is no future. It's just this. And so understanding that it's a matter of being in the moment, being in the energy of it all the time, and just feeling it that way, knowing that your past isn't you. You make up your past by your memories, and the future doesn't exist yet, so there is no future that you can ever say exists either. So it's just this is it, right now, right here and now. You guys want to see some geese? Hold on one sec. Yeah, they just come swimming up here. See them there? So it's pretty cool what they do. is these pilings here. They have, like, you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see it on those guys, but they're eating the grass. What they do is they go down there and they grab some of the moss and algae and stuff like that that's growing on those pilings, and I guess that's their snack there that they eat. King Dollar Destroyer, Shillery, you jest. All right. Let's see here. I will take the dollars of anyone and everyone here in the chat who is misguided as uneducated economists and wants out of the dollars. Who said that I want out of the dollars, bro? Obviously you haven't. I mean, I've been a strong dollar theorist my entire channel here. I've never thought that the dollar was a losing thing. In fact, I was one of the few people who was willing to stand up and say that inflation was not what it is that everybody thinks it is. It's not going to be a hyperinflation. And what is it that everybody's going to say when we start seeing inflation come back down? I had always said that, and I have always been a strong dollar theorist. And now I don't think that the dollar is awesome. I don't think the Federal Reserve is awesome. I don't think that the United States is awesome. And I don't think we have anything that's unique other than the fact that we have able to establish ourselves as a world reserve currency. And that gives us a very unique position. But now, do I think that it's good? Do I think it's bad? No, I don't. Come on, just stay there. I don't think it's either of that stuff. I don't think it's anything like that. It's just an is, and it's just the position that we have to position ourselves in. Some people may not want to be in dollars in accordance to what it is that they want out of their life. Other people probably want to be in dollars, considering that there's probably going to be some good buying opportunities. Learning to invest needs dollars. You need to put them somewhere. You need to earn dollars. You need to pay taxes in dollars. Like, there's no way you're getting out of it. This is it, man. What time is it? It is 11:38. Okay, I got a few more minutes here. Oh, come on. This is a horrible spot to try and position my phone. You guys just bounce everywhere here. Okay. I used to ride a bicycle like Lance Armstrong. Was fun, and I need to get back on it. Yeah, you know, I would probably bicycle a little bit more around if it wasn't raining 9 months out of the year. So you just, like, once you get out of the habit or you know, even like the hobby of doing it, you know, just being in the, you know, doing it, well, like 9 months out of the year, it's going to be kind of a pissy event, you know, and so, you know, do you really want to do it? All right, you're doing good, man. If there's a God, maybe he bless you to the max. Listen, there's something that has gotten a hold of the position that I was in life. Check this out. Pigeon came up to say hi. That's what I was laughing at there. You know, the position that I was in life and where I am today, I really feel like there was a higher power that grabbed a hold of me and changed my life. You know, I mean, I knew that, you know, part of my issues that I was facing was the alcohol in my life. When I gave that up and I started pursuing things that I knew was going to be a benefit to my life, I started chasing the excellence and stuff. It just seemed like the world was just naturally starting to reward me for it. And it took a while. Like, I don't want to say like I was rewarded in some profound way, like winning, you know, $100 million lottery or something like that, but it changed everything that I had going on. Like, all of a sudden the stresses of things like, you know, I mean, you guys know, I mean, when you spend decades struggling to pay your bills, like, you don't pay all your bills, you're always owing bills, you always owe somebody something, right? And then you get to a point in your life in which that you can pay your bills. Like, you can just, you know, any bill that comes in the mail, you just pay it, right? And you don't think about, like, what it is that you need to cut out of your life in order to pay this bill. You don't think about that, right? You don't think about it in that fashion. And that's pretty rewarding. You know, like, I don't need the fancy cars and I don't need all the other stuff. Like, none of that shit means anything to me. Like, material possessions really don't mean nothing to me at all. Like, I can really care less about it stuff. But being in a position in which that you don't stress about what it is that you need in your life, you know, like, you don't worry about, like, you know, what the dentist bill is going to be, and you don't worry about whether or not, you know, you have enough milk in the fridge or toilet paper in the cupboard or anything like that. Like, that stuff goes away. And it doesn't necessarily go away, but you don't think about it. Like, before. That's a hell of a reward. Like, I don't, that to me means so much, and I don't know what else I would really ask for. That's the reward for me. All right. Wow, look at all these. All right. Hey, thank you for joining the channel. We got Carter Mori. Thank you for joining, man. You're really going to enjoy it, man. There's a bunch of live streams there that we did, the members only live streams. They take a little while. They're boring topics, man. I'm telling you, it's not exactly the most thrilling thing to kind of sit through, but it's a little bit of work. And, hey, I read through it. I stutter through it. We try and break it down. We have a discussion about it. There's plenty of comments, of people who have a lot of thought and ideas and perspectives and intelligence and everything that they share within the comment section of it. After you're done listening to those videos, you will have internalized it. You will have the information that you need to then understand that articles that you're seeing, like the one I leave down in the description, they start making a lot more sense to you and why they're there and what could the future really be like. When you start seeing these articles about people talking about, China dumping treasuries and getting out of the dollar and stuff like that, like, man, I don't think so. If you read Dollar Funding Stresses in China, you're going to have a much different perspective. So thank you for joining the channel, and thank you for everybody who's joined the channel. Thank you for everybody who has gifted the memberships. That was something that I was not anticipating, is that how many members of the channel were gifted memberships, who then in turn started gifting memberships out there. They were like paying it forward. And this is like, forcing, like, not just trying to like say, hey man, I got something to sell, which is $1 a month. It's like insignificant to you, right? I mean, $12 a year, $120 a decade for hardcore dedicated research and information that I'm providing out there. $1 a month is really insignificant to most people out there, but it means a whole lot to me. Right, every one of them. And so I know that by charging $1 for those videos, that I have to put a lot of work and effort and value into those things. Right? By doing that, we share in this community the ideas and concepts that now give you the ability to make good decisions about, what it is you have going on in your own life, because we all have our own economy, right? And so it's very difficult to figure out what it is you need to do when we have so many other people out there, especially in the mainstream media, giving out so much BS, like about what's really happening out there. And it makes it very difficult to make your decisions for yourself. Once you have like internalized this information, really gathered it for yourself, you look at that mainstream media stuff and you just don't feel like, you don't feel lost in like what it is that's being done out there. You feel and understand it in a much more, I don't know, logical sense. It's the only way I can really describe it. And so, I encourage everybody to go and check it out. And, thank you for gifting memberships out there and forcing the exponential growth of the memberships of this channel. You're like literally making it grow like that. And wow, man, what a great thing to have. We have almost 1,000 subscribers, or not 1,000 members. We have 920 something members to the channel now. And it seems to be growing, it seems to be growing quite a bit. So yeah, go check it out and be part of the community. I'll do one video a week, members only video a week. And I like covering the Fed's speeches and, statements that they give. However, over the last week here, we've had a blackout period, so I really didn't have any new information because the Federal Reserve is not giving out any information during that blackout period. But we should be getting more speeches and more ideas of what the future monetary policy is going to be like, including things like stable coins and stuff like that. The Federal Reserve addresses a lot of this stuff, like, and listening to the FOMC, the voting members of the Federal Reserve Monetary Policy, listening to these guys' speeches, listening to their statements and documents that they are communicating to the other central bankers is incredibly important. It's not the same communications that's going out there to the public. All right, let's read these super chats and we're probably going to have to call it quits. What time is it? I got a few more minutes left here. Okay, Wayne, thank you so much for the $5. Life is full of ups and downs. Stay uncomfortable. Comfortable creates complacency. Complacency is a dangerous thing. Absolutely it is, Wayne. Never, like, always be in the unknown. Like, magic is found in the unknown. If you are fearful of the event, like you're nervous about the outcome of it, that's the place you want to be, right? Because fear is unknown. Everybody is scared of the unknown. And if you're in the unknown, that's where the magic happens. Magic doesn't happen in the known. It doesn't happen where you know it's going to be. That's not where the magic is going to take place. It's going to happen in the unknown. And so, if you feel the fear, you're feeling nervous, you don't know about the future, you're not, all that other stuff, that's the place you want to be, right? Always uncomfortable, and always, and it's not fear, right? It's uncertainty that you're feeling. It's the unknown. And that's the best part about it, right? It's because if it's unknown, then you're not feeling the importance of it, right? You're just going with it, and that's usually why you find the magic. All right, thank you, Wayne. We got Spencer with the $5 Canadian, man. Thank you so much. Happy to join. Thanks for all the content. Yeah, well, thank you very much for joining the channel and being here. Look at all these people. Brody signed up again. Thank you so much, Brody. So yeah, that's fresh. All right. Here we go. Larry Bird with the $1.99, man. Larry, you have been very generous lately, man. Thank you so much with all the super chats you've hit me up with. I really appreciate it. You ever eat lunch? Yeah. So I have a pretty fast high speed metabolism. I don't really gain weight very well. I've tried to gain weight, and so I eat a lot of food, and generally I eat all throughout the day. So I will snack on stuff pretty much all day long. Like I don't know, like I eat all the time. But as far as like sitting down eating a big meal, like if I'm out with the family and we go to a restaurant or something like that, I might do that. But for the most part, I don't really eat big meals throughout the day. The only big meal I eat is dinner. And if it's just like a regular work day kind of thing, we'll eat very small portions all day long. And and it's usually pretty healthy stuff. All right. Man, look at this. You guys are really going for it. Brandon, thank you so much, Brandon. Fortified General Contracting. Wow, right on, man. Are you speaking at one rental at a time event in 2025? I haven't exactly been invited to that one as of yet, so I don't know. So I mean, I would like to. I would definitely, like anything that Mike Zuber wants to do, man, I would totally partner up and do whatever. I mean, I think that guy is the coolest. And yeah, if he was offering me up another speaking engagement to go down and speak at his conference, or even just to be there, just to hang out, I totally would show up for that. Mike Zuber's event, like, I really enjoyed the Rebel Capitalist. I thought that was a really fun one to go to. But Mike Zuber's One Rental at a Time had some of the best energy that I have ever experienced at these conferences. A lot of times they're kind of boring, and like with the Rebel Capitalist, although it's it's got a lot of it's very prestigious with a lot of very famous and popular speakers out there. I think Zuber's was more personal, like more connected, more networking kind of thing happening there. It was a really good event. Like if you have a chance to go to like these events, I definitely encourage everybody to go to the Rebel Capitalist because it's such an awesome event. But definitely Zuber's. I mean, Zuber's is good. It's a good one. Conference buddy. Yeah, All Nighter and I have been to a bunch of these things together. All right. I just ate a bag of Cheetos. All right. How lit are the family reunions? Let's see here. Simon, have you ever ran out on a bill at your restaurant? No, I can't do that, Benny. You know why? Because people would come to my door and be like, bro, you ran out on the restaurant. You owe me, $85. They would know who I am. They would show up, I can't hide, people would be like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, if you're in some city where nobody knows who you are, you might be able to run out on it, but I can't run away from anything here. Everybody knows who I am. All right. It's pretty much what Zuber's event is, a family reunion. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I was impressed. Like, I knew it was going to be fun and I knew it was going to be, but I was actually pretty impressed. It was more than I had anticipated. And like I said, I think it's just the energy that everybody was carrying. I mean, they're similar, you have your speakers, you have the audience, you have your breaks and stuff like that. But really like I said, the energy that was being, that was there, was a unique one. It was good. What time is it? Do I gotta go yet? Yeah, I gotta get going. Okay. When it's a choice between eating and traveling, eating is much more important. Uh, I also eat small meals throughout the day. Helps prevent bloating. Okay. What was it? Benny asking because that's what he wants to do, and he is asking if you think he'll get caught. Oh. Yeah, I don't recommend that, bro. I just pay the bill. Besides, like I said, I can't get away with shit around here, so everybody knows who I am. I can't fake it. I can't, do anything like that. Right? Everybody knows. It would be like, dude, I know who you are, man. I know where you live. I'll just show up at your job. Alright. I remember back when people said China held all the cards in regards to the U.S. economy. Very laughable idea now, isn't it, Benny? It's very different. It's very personal, so investing is what's best for you. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to have to call it quits. It was a fun live stream. I hope you enjoyed the view, the geese, conversations. You guys are awesome. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. We got 168 people watching with 101 likes, $16.06 in super chats because you guys are always so generous with that. Please go hit the like button before we end the live stream. By hitting that like button, the YouTube algorithm will pick up the video, spread it around for more people to join in and see what it is that China is doing with dollars to destroy the nations of the world. Very interesting watching this happen. Not a lot of people know this stuff, right? So it's good to internalize it. Alrighty, all-nighter, thank you so much for being here. Brody, thank you for being here. All the Uneducated Economist crew, Charger Mopar, you guys are awesome. We'll see you guys next time. Uneducated Economist, you let me know.